All right, boys. We got an early game for us here today. This is actually the very first game that I played today. I literally played this like 10 minutes ago, and I didn't record it live because I considered it kind of my warm up game, so to speak. But I really wish that I did get this live recorded, but I didn't. So this is gonna have to do. So first things first, looking at the matchmaking threats to my ship, we are middle tier. There's tier 9s and there's tier 7s. There's no radar whatsoever. There's no ships that have radar as standard, and there's no ships that could slot radar in place of whatever it might have. So no Royal Navy or no Pan Asian destroyers that have smoke or radar. None of that. No radar whatsoever, so that's nice. No carriers, even better, and only one submarine to piss us off, who in theory should spawn on the opposite side to mirror our own submarine. So I am going to address the little bit of an inting that I've done. This is not a replay bug. I do have armor piercing loaded, and my AA is off, and this is just simply because I wasn't paying attention. This was my warm-up game, and I was playing with my friend last night, and we were doing some carrier hunting, and I was shooting at a Chkalov, and I think a Wesser that were like right next to each other and got a double pelt. But anyway, that's all aside the point. So I am going to notice it eventually, but I'm just not paying attention to it now. So, everyone makes mistakes, even me. This is one of those times. So, I am going to step into the cap here at sea. This is pretty much my standard game plan for the majority of games is dip my toe in the cap and see what tries to bite it off. And I just bracketed a Jaeger at 5 kilometers. That's pretty good. We're just going to get as much chip damage as possible. We slowed down there to try and get as many shots off as possible, and this Jaeger launched torpedoes accounting for that, so we can speed up and just avoid them all. Now I could smoke up here to try and break line of sight with the Veneto and the Lazo, but I'm about to go dark anyway. I'd say I do take a little bit of chip damage, but it's nothing too major. So what I'm looking at right now is this is something that I really want to pay attention to. Stewie. Okay, as soon as I hit the record button is when Stewie wants to come over here and start meowing his head off. But what I'm looking at right now is that just going on its own. But what I'm looking at right now is, let me get my paint tool. So this Jaeger is kind of chilling in the sea cap. For support, he has potentially a Cheshire, an Awami, a Veneto, and a Lazo. But if we look around, I'm actually going to just let it play here. If we look around, there's this big island right here, and there's a series of islands over here. There's a chain of 4. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm trying to use this island to block not only line of sight, but also line of fire from these two ships right here, the Veneto and the Lazo. And then if we can get it to turn around right there, I'm also using this chain of... what the fuck is that doing? Oh, okay. I'm trying to use this chain of islands here to block line of sight and line of fire from this Cheshire and whatever else might be in B. And then this Awami, he might be able to clear this low end of the island here. But even if he does, I'm not too stressed because he's really the only person who could have a shot on me. So what I'm looking at doing is I'm using all of these islands to block line of fire from any ships that could support this Jaeger. And I'm looking to take this Jaeger out of the game. But this Veneto does unfortunately end up turning out. Which means he is going to cross this gap. So instead of just, well, fuck. So instead of just motoring on straight down and trying to face check the Jaeger, I am going to let this Veneto pass the gap. And I'm also just taking a few preparations just in case this Jaeger were to push around this side of the island. Not that I'm expecting him to. He doesn't really have any reason to do that because he's not getting pushed directly. But you know, just gonna take the preparations just in case. And then we do end up spotting the Jaeger, who is on the island for some reason. I honestly expected he was gonna be like more over here, because the Carl Johan said he got a torpid on him. But you know, rip to this guy. And then we immediately go dark because the Veneto is behind an island. The Iwami's out of range. And then there's islands in the way over there. So that is how you use islands to isolate targets. Now granted, this Jaeger didn't exactly make it hard because he sat on an island himself and basically just let me face check him. And this is a not exact. Well, I mean, I guess it is a cherry-picked example, but it's also not, because this game right here that you're seeing, the stars basically aligned perfectly for what you just saw. But you can definitely do this on basically any map with islands, which is like literally almost every single map in the game. Granted, some maps are easier to do on others. Maps like Neighbors that have like really tightly packed island chains. Warrior's Path, you can do this on in the middle of the map. What was the name of it? Northern Waters in the Sea Cap, you can do it. There's like, it's not hard to do. It's easier on some maps than others, but it's just one of those case-by-case basis. So right here, I'm looking at doing the exact same thing. Those torpedoes that I launched right there were actually at the Veneto, because I was expecting the Veneto to try and smoke up and then like haul ass that way. So that's what those torpedoes were meant to punish him for. He doesn't do that, but you know, that's what the thought process was. Now right here, I'm looking at doing the exact same thing. I'm trying to use this big island to block line of fire from these two battleships. And then, well, literally all of these guys I don't have to worry about because they're just fucking right off. The Cheshire was over here, but he got smacked and is now kiting away. So all I'm looking at doing now is reversing into the Z44, anticipating that he's going to try and head this way. He's either going to sit basically where he is and contest our own Z44, or he's going to do this. Now, I want you to pay attention to this right here. That Z44 obviously just shot at me about 3-4 seconds ago, and he is taking his sweet ass time to shoot at me again. That is a telltale sign of torpedoes being launched. When you see a really obvious gap in what should be otherwise be normal firing times, he didn't lose any turrets that I'm aware of. And even if he did, he has like other turrets. So disruptions in what should otherwise be normal firing times are a telltale sign of torpedoes being launched. So I'm immediately beginning to accelerate. And I'm not in the greatest torpedo dodging position because there is this island right here. But that is what's going on here. And I just wanted to point that out because sometimes you might see me be firing at somebody. And then I would switch to my torpedoes for like a second or two and see if they're on target. Yep, and there's his torpedoes. I would switch to my torpedoes for like a second to see if they're on target. If they're not on target, I would immediately go back to guns. And the reason I do that is that exact reason. I'm trying to minimize the gap in what should otherwise be normal firing times. The caveat to this is the chances of this sort of thing happening in randoms, where people are, well, for lack of a nicer word, pretty stupid. The chances of someone looking at that and being like, oh, he took like 4 seconds to fire instead of 2 or whatever. First of all, you need to know what normal firing times should look like. But second of all, it's a really hard thing to kind of spot when in the heat of the moment sort of thing. When you typically are having something called other problems. So the chances of someone else picking up on you doing this sort of thing, being like, oh, this guy just took such and such number of seconds to fire instead of half of that or whatever. Obviously, torpedoes are being launched. The chances of someone catching that are slim. Not technically impossible, but slim. At least in randoms. So you don't need to worry too much about this, but it is just something to keep in the back of your mind. And it is something that you'll kind of gain more muscle memory for doing as you, well, do it. So that's that. Now, with the death of the breast, well, not really the breast, and pretty much literally everything on this side, all I can do is just sit here and keep the rest of these guys spotted for the rest of their lives. And that's pretty much it. That Massachusetts just got absolutely fucking smacked. I just want to say that this is one of the things that pisses me off the absolute most about this game. I am 8 kilometers away from a Massachusetts who just got smacked for like 30k or whatever that was, and I got absolutely 0 spotting credit for it. I'm getting 0 spotting credit for this treasure, this Massachusetts. The Alsace, I can understand the Z44 maybe getting spotting credit for it, but like, this is insanely frustrating. How you can be like so close to a target. I've had times where I was 5 kilometers, literally face spotting the enemy ship, and I still don't get any spotting credit for it. Like, it is actually fucking demented, and I truly don't understand how the fucking spotting. Who gets the spotting credit for certain things. Because I'm literally 8 kilometers away from these guys, and I'm not getting any spotting credit for it. It's probably the fucking Minnesota or some shit that gets it. I truly don't know. It frustrates me to no end about this game. How you can literally not get rewarded for doing your job. But I digress. Like, maybe there's just some other, like, there's some obscure bullshit mechanic at play. I truly couldn't tell you. Now, right here, I am going to be a little bit greedy on the Massachusetts because I do have my smoke available should I need it. That Fiji, that's 7 kilometers, got smacked, and I didn't get any spotting credit for it. I smoke up and immediately hit forward instead of trying to reverse, and you just saw exactly why that is, because that Fiji just blind shot exactly where I was. If I had taken the time to try and slow down and reverse in the smoke, which I don't know why so many people do that. I guess it's an easy habit to fall into because you have to you want to be going slow, but going slow does not mean stopping and reversing. It just means go slow. And that is exactly why. All of the blind fire, all of the blind torpedoes that are being fired into the smoke, 9 times out of 10 is going to be going at where you just were and behind you. And you just saw that in practice right there, because I was able to I just inched forward And even like when you immediately smoke up, as soon as you slow down enough for the smoke puff to cover you, you can go slightly faster. If you alternate between quarter speed and half speed, you can go slightly faster for short bursts and get a little bit more smoke out of it. Uh, but those are a little bit of a nuanced thing. But you definitely want to keep going forward at quarter speed. Do not slow down and reverse or stop in your smoke, is the moral of the story. So why did I show this particular game? The purest and simplest answer is because I wanted to demonstrate how to abuse island cover. What you're looking for uh, in it being able to block line of fire, and how to use it to isolate targets like we saw with the Jaeger, and then also with the Z44, and as well as a couple of other nuanced things about, like, the normal firing times and the smoke usage. So this was a bit of a uh, it's not the worst I've seen. I've definitely seen worse, and I might even post a community post about the worst I've seen yet after I begin this upload. But anyway, it was a bit of a one-sided game, or a lot rather. But I wanted to show this replay anyway because I think it's a very good, real example of exactly how you can abuse islands. And obviously, this is going to be a case by case basis. You're not always going to be able to fully isolate targets like I was able to do. Sometimes you're just going to have to settle for minimizing the targets that can shoot at you. Like if there's a Montana and a Des Moines, and you can only use an island to block one of them while you engage a destroyer, or you try and hunt a low health destroyer. Because I don't like, if it's a full health destroyer, I don't think you would really take that fight to start with. But if you're trying to finish off a low health destroyer, let's say, and there's a Montana and a Des Moines, and you can only block the line of sight or line of fire from one of them, you can use the island to block line of fire from the Des Moines, which is the bigger DPM threat, as long as you can dodge or minimize the Montana salvo. You basically only have to take the one salvo instead of just getting shot at by a Des Moines for a solid 30 seconds. So it is a case by case basis, but I did want to kind of demonstrate this just so you can really see in real time and practically what that looks like and the results that you can achieve by doing so. So that is pretty much going to be it for this replay, and yeah, I'll see you.